Good morning everybody, and welcome to Cooking with Penny. So today for this week's food bank lunch we are going to be making a lovely beef casserole which is ideal for this time of year. Very simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the vegetables. Now on your recipe I've suggested an onion, a carrot or a couple of carrots, a sweet potato and some celery, but you can also add maybe some red peppers or an ordinary potato. The more vegetables you add, the more bulk you'll get, and you might even get your children to help you with the vegetables and also eat vegetables because they're going to go really nice and soft in the casserole. This casserole is going to take quite a long time to cook. And ideally, if you've got a slow cooker, pop it in a slow cooker. So we're going to start off with the carrots. I've prepared some already. Very quick peel. I like to put all my peelings into one bowl. Keeps it all neat and tidy on the table. So very quickly, I've got a nice easy potato peeler here. Some people like to use a knife. Some people have different sorts of peelers. But anyway, quick peeler, take the ends off like that, and then very gently, and this is probably a job for a parent and not the children, slice down the middle of the carrot as carefully as you can, and then flat on the surface, down the middle again, and then quite chunky, because again this is going to cook quite quick, slowly, so it doesn't want to be too small, like that, and down again, nice dice. And then straight into this bowl, and this is a sweet potato. So again, you just peel it off. I've peeled most of this one, I just wanted to show you quickly. And I'm going to take the ends off, they're a little bit hard at the ends. I'm going to cut that into half and then half again, and then into flat surface again, straight down, and then I'm going to go chunks. Always hold it so it stays firm. As you can see, I'm using a pretty large sharp knife. If you've got children in the kitchen, find a smaller knife which is going to be more suitable for them, and make sure you supervise if the children are helping, because knives should be sharp. I've got a half label. I've got a half a red pepper here, which I'm going to take that label off, and again I'm going to cut it into strips, quite thick strips, and then back down into chunks. Pepper cooks quite quickly, but in this it's more about the flavour than the vegetable. If you don't like peppers, leave them out. And that's that. And then we've got an onion. I think I've shown you how to cook onions before, so we'll take the ends off. Get rid of some of the papery stuff. I'm not taking that furry end off, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So then I'm going to cut that down, right down the middle like that, and take as much of this papery stuff off as I can easily and quickly while I'm demonstrating. I'm using a red onion today, that's what I had in the cupboard. But you can use any onions, brown onion, white onion, not spring onion, that wouldn't go. So again, I'm just going to cut down into rings, and that's the end bit with the stalk is going in the rubbish. I'm going to cut those in half again because we want that to cook slowly and to soften into the mixture. The ideal with this casserole is if you've got any bits of vegetables lying around in your fridge or on the back of the cupboard that look a little bit, I don't think I can use those, they're perfect for this, because this is going to cook really long and slow, and you're not going to know when you're eating it eventually that it was a little bit, the vegetables were a little bit suspect. Never throw out vegetables. You can always make them into a soup or into this sort of lovely casserole. So that was really quick there. I'm not going to use a whole potato, but you could, and again you would just peel it in the same way as I did the sweet potato and pop it in there. I'm not going to use one of those. So that's all your vegetables ready to go into the pot. I'm just going to put that aside, and now into this bowl, oh that was quite strong, I'm going to add 2 large tablespoons of flour, possibly a little bit more, and some mixed herbs, which you're going to have your mixed herbs and your paprika all mixed up in a little pot together. So I'm going to put a good dollop of mixed herbs in there, and a half a teaspoon, I think, of paprika. Gives it a nice rich flavour. And some salt, not too much because you're going to put a stock cube in a minute. And some pepper. You can use ground pepper, you can use the the grinds, whatever you've got. Just a little pepper. Give that a quick mix around with the fork so everything's mixed in. And then your beef. So you'll all have a packet of beef like this. This is 500 grams of stewing steak. So there will be meat ready for you. Pop that, and this is all going to be diced, so it's quite a nice little dice there, different sizes. That's going to, and then we're just going to, with the fork or with a spoon or with your hands, just incorporate all that together. Very, very simple. So if you're putting this into a slow cooker, you can put it straight into your pan. In my case, I've got a slow cooker, but I've got a really, really heavy pan like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to very, very quickly fry off this vegetable. You don't need to do that in a slow cooker. But I'm just going to really, really quickly fry this off over here in some oil. Going to take that over here, fry it off, a couple of minutes in the pan, that's all it needs. So I've just given that oils there, given it a quick heat through, or not, you don't have to, covering it all in the oil as you can see. And now into that I'm going to throw the meat with all the flour. Doesn't matter if there's a bit more flour than we needed. Just like that. Again, just stir it around so everything's incorporated. If I can show you. Lovely. That looking good. Now, then we are going to add in one jug 1 stock cube. This is to give it added flavour, if I can get into it. Oh dear. There we are, coming. Stock cube made up with some boiling water, which I've boiled the kettle before. And whatever it says on the thingy, it's about between 3/4 of a pint and a pint. Remembering that the flour needs liquid and the vegetables need liquid, so you need plenty of liquid. There we are, that's a pint approximately. And I'm also going to add some tomato puree. You could add it to the tomatoes, you could just add some puree. So a couple of tablespoons of puree in there, like that. If it's not tablespoons, it's a good old. Lovely. And perfect. Now, if this wasn't for children, I might add, and didn't have anybody with any problems with alcohol, I might add some cider or some beer or some red wine, and instead of making that all up with the water, I would take some of the liquid away and add it with the alcohol into that. So that looks like there's a lot of liquid in there, but bearing in mind there was also quite a lot of flour that's going to thicken, and the vegetables need to have liquid to cook. And that is your beef stew. Now that is going to cook in the oven. Well, if you're going to put it in a slow cooker, I think you probably want to cook it for about 8 hours, really slowly. This has got a really heavy lid. I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to pop it in the oven. And after about, I'm going to put it in the oven for about 150, about gas 4, but a low 150, because I want this to cook really long and slow. So I'm thinking it's going to be in the oven for about 3 hours. It may be longer. If you've got a pan like this, rather than a slow cooker, this could go on your cooker top, on your hob, cooking really, really slowly. You just remember you need to keep stirring. You need to stir it occasionally. So that's going in my oven, and we'll have a look at it in a couple of hours and give it a stir and then see how it's going. Here we are. Beef casserole. So this is extremely hot. So I hope, let's see if I can lift this up so I can show you. I hope you can see that it looks a bit different now already. And it smells beautiful with all the herbs in it and what have you. Just giving that a quick stir. There's no way that the vegetables are anywhere near cooked yet. And that's only been cooking for about an hour, hour and a half. So that is going to have to cook very gently for at least another couple of hours so that everything is beautifully soft and tasty and the meat's tender. And what I maybe ought to say is possibly, so I didn't put, as you said, no, I didn't put potatoes in. I think I would like to put mashed potato, serve that with mashed potatoes, because I think then the mash will soak up all the gravy. I think that'd be really lovely. And maybe a green vegetable, like some green beans or some cabbage. Or even peas, to be honest. Anything. It doesn't need a lot more vegetables because there's so many vegetables in there. So that's going back in my oven for another couple of hours, and we'll see it later.